106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Good morning. Today's brought to you by the strongest coffee I could find. So, it wasn't that long ago we replaced the clutch in this truck. Now, what had happened is the disc itself didn't go out. I believe the pressure plate locked up pretty hardcore because I could not. I tried to disengage it by hand. I put a big wrench on the shift fork down there and I tried pulling on it to see if I can disengage it. Didn't budge at all. It started bending the shift fork. And so what that did is having a stiff clutch wore my pedal rod. The rod that goes into the slave sonar is constantly wearing hard on that pivot rod that's on the clutch pedal. So it's worn halfway through, and it did that since the time I put the pedals in the truck. It was a stiff clutch to begin with, and so since I've replaced it, the clutch is a lot softer. It's almost like a car clutch, to be honest. But with that stiff clutch, it had worn pretty hardcore, and it started getting stiffer and stiffer, and it wore it even more. And eventually, that rod broke, and not the pivot. It's getting ready to break, but the rod broke, and so we replaced the clutch and all the hydraulics, and all is good. But I still have my master cylinder pedal rod is wearing halfway into the clutch pedal pivot rod. So what I want to do, since I wasn't able to get that thing off when I had the pedals out, I was trying to service the pedal assembly and lubricate everything. That's why when we first swapped this thing, everything was all squeaky and just nasty sounding. And I've gotten some WD-40 on there, managed to do that. So it's, not as bad. But what I want to do is I want to get this steering column out, and I want to get the clutch pedal assembly out and over to the garage. And what we're going to do is we're going to weld, fill in that wear. We're going to fill in with some weld, and we're actually going to make it a little bit larger and grind it down and smooth it out so that it's a little bit closer to the diameter of the pedal rod itself, or the push rod, excuse me. That way there's a little bit less banging, and then we'll readjust everything as needed. And we'll make sure we grease it up. I did grease this up when I put the new stuff in, but we're going to grease it up again. And so, anyways, let's get started. First things first, since I'm going to have the doors open on this thing, I get the interior lights are on, and I don't have a way to shut it off because it's an American vehicle, and okay, I'm just kidding. I sound like some white guy that only likes Japanese. On these older trucks, put your hand in and press down right here to the left of this center line. Pardon me for the sniffling. I am getting over a bit of a cold, so you have to excuse me for that. So we need to disconnect this battery so we don't drain it. I put new terminals on here. There's the ones you can get from like Napa or AutoZone. I got these from Napa, and it's a 13 millimeter. It's a tiny bit loose. It's probably actually standard, believe it or not. I put a little bit of grease on there to keep moisture from getting out on there, and it's working great. It's keeping it from getting corroded. So I'm gonna grab a hold of it. You don't want to bang on the battery or anything. You might break the post internally. The next thing we're gonna need to get at, we're just gonna do this right now. We're gonna disconnect the steering shaft because we're gonna pull the steering column. And I've got my steering wheels kind of turned a little bit, so it's kind of crappy, but I think this is a 12 millimeter, but I can get at it from here. I'm just going to use a 13 millimeter. This is from my Husky set that I bought from the Home Depot. My apologies if I'm in the way here. That's getting it. Okay. We're free. What I was fighting was probably this end here could have used some lubrication, but disconnected, so I got that dealt with. Okay, so now what we gotta do is we gotta take some trim panels out. I think we can get away with leaving this guy in here, so I'm not too worried about that. Undo. I like to put my screws in the ashtray. Oh, you know what? I lied. Come here, screw. There's just 3 screws. These are the same screws that hold your dash top in, at least here. Okay. Pull that. Pull that. That's out of here. Easy enough. Now this pops out. And this wiring here is just for my headlight switch, so we're just gonna hang this air compressor slash horn wiring will need to be relocated. Since I'm pulling this out, it may be a good time for me to fix my horn issue. I'm gonna find the 2 wires to make the horn work, and I'll probably just wire it into this wiring here. Because this is what I have for my horn now. It goes directly to the battery, so I would like to use this instead of the switch here, and I'll do something later for my cruise control, but whatevs. So now we have plain access to these 2 bolts here. These are 14s, and we're going to be removing the 4 nuts that hold the brake booster in, and that's also what holds the clutch pedal assembly in, and they're all 14s at this point. And I believe we're 10s right in the back there with the what mounts the base of the steering column to the thing. So we're almost there. So this Husky kit that I'm using, I got from Home Depot for, I think it was like 50 bucks. So we're just gonna get these loose like that. Loose. So, the bolts that we're undoing are these here. I believe these are 10 millimeter. You got 3 out at the bottom, and I think there should be 2 at the top. Remember, it's back when they were kind of trying to convert to metric. Yeah, 3/8 fits great. I got a swivel on this too to make things a little bit easier. At least that's my hope. Little mag tray, anyone? Just to put the important bolts in. What I can do now is I can drop these 4 bolts up here. So, yeah. I mean, 2 bolts, pardon. Oh. That's no más bueno. I'm gonna have to put some zip ties around this. Better. See what I mean by this falling apart? Okay. Yeah, there's just those metal tabs coming up. There, I fixed that. And I believe this one here has my horn wiring, I think. I hate these old Ford connectors because they got these weird clips. I like to break one off and then have one to deal with. So, should be able to just take this out of here. We'll just put this in the bed of the truck. So this is what we're looking like right now. I'm gonna move these over here. Oh, if anybody ever finds this hose here, it has a little valve on it. If your cruise control doesn't work and you see this like that, make sure it's in there and has this little valve thing on it. Otherwise your cruise control won't work. That's why mine wasn't working to begin with. I have a brand new module in there. Oh well. Okay, so this here is the brake thing. Let's see, where's our clip for it? Pull that pin out and that brake switch, we'll just take it out and then move them over. And then these 4 nuts here, we're gonna pull out. We're gonna use the 14 millimeter. And then there's, I think these are 2 10s and an 8. So, look at that. Oh my God. Someone's like, you should stop pissing around with that socket kit and use a 1/2 inch. I'm like, no, I'm gonna put my new Husky set to the test, but thank you for the suggestion. And the stiff clutch will ruin that pedal rod. It really needs a bushing. But the bastards who sell you the new parts don't give you bushings. So that's one. We're on our second lower one. Lower right hand side. Top right hand side. Upper left hand side. Oh yeah, we need to disconnect this. Okay. I think that's our horn wire right there. Yikes. So I don't want to break the rest of my dash off. Get all this out of here. Cut on this other wiring harness. There we go. Don't ever buy this stuff. citrus scented. All it does is attract swarms of bees. So, can you see what I'm doing? This pedal rides in here like that. I mean, that's... First of all, yeah, there should be a bushing in there. I don't know why they didn't give you that. But this rod goes in there like that much. We have... Look at how much of a gap we have there. That's working. Come together. Come together. This bench is a freaking mess. I had it nice and clean one time, and then it was just like, oh my god. So, I've got her thing plugged in. I'm gonna throw some gloves on here. Make sure you have all your flammable materials all around it. Clear. Just kind of clean up the chatteriness on it. I'm just getting the rust off of it. So I can put my clamp here and have a nice clean surface. Okay, I'm not going to get too close in. I don't want to ruin the sensor on my camera. But, so you guys know, the last video, or actually a couple videos ago, I did buy one of these, so I got one. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet. I like having it. For being a Harbor Freight sort of deal, it works great. We're going to make this oversized, and then we'll grind it down so that this barely slips over it. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna put it on minimum heat. I don't want to drill through. I don't want to fill my pin up, so I might have to drill it out. Yeah. I think that'll be good, and we still have a hole on the other side, so we can drill that out. All right, so she ain't pretty, but we got that mostly filled with weld. Now we can just grind it down. We're gonna grind it to where this just barely slips over, and then we'll smooth it out with some sandpaper. And then when we go to put everything back together in the truck, we'll grease it up. Before we do that, I'm gonna find some type of grease or something and put on those bushings so that they're lubricated. I think I still have some energy suspension stuff laying around. I'm gonna look for it, maybe clean this up and find it. And if I do, then we'll put that stuff on them. That will be nice. And lubricated. So, these things scare the crap out of me, just so you know. You know, just for right now, putting these on. Yeah, that was a good idea. I can live with that amount of slop. I can deal with that. It's beautiful. I accidentally welded into that hole, but I still have the other side, so I'm going to take this drill bit here and I'm just going to ream it out. Soak it. Got some sandpaper here. This is 120. So what I'm going to do here is kind of clean this up here. I'd like to. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit so it's not so rough. I hate being sick and getting over it and then still having the sniffly nose. Excuse me. I think I can do this now. Okay. Let's see our bushings here. Yeah, they're not messed up or anything, so that's good. We got 2 flat washers on here. Let's put it here. Oh wow, that's light. This. Yeah, they're dry. That's why. Just kind of clean that up. I don't know what kind of grease to use for this. I don't think this wheel bearing grease I have is good. I don't want to use a petroleum stuff. I mean, this is plastic. Yeah, it'll probably break it down. I don't want to do that. Our biggest offender here is the clutch pedal. This actually goes all the way through. You just got this guy here. So I think I'm going to take a risk and use wheel bearing grease. May or may not be okay. But we're going to just clean up any rust off this, which is what we have here. Rough it up like this, grease will actually stick in there more. So I can dig it. So let's see. I'm gonna get some nitrile gloves on. You know it? I don't have any nitrile gloves. Yeah, I don't want to use this stuff, but I have to. I'm going to lubricate the outside here. And a light coating on the inside. There's actually bushings going here. Yeah, okay, that's what I was getting wrong. Yeah, okay, and so there's a wavy here. It's like a preload. Keeps the slop from, keeps it from having too much slop. Oh. There we go. Go through. Beautiful. No squeaky squeak. And it moves nice and freely. So now we can do wipe our hands off again. I feel much more comfortable. This is fixed now because, well, I tell you, I was dreading it. I was dreading driving the thing, knowing that this part was worn to crap. When you know something's about to go, and you're driving around and you're constantly using that part that's about ready to go, oh boy, it really eats on you. Put a little bit of lube on that. Yeah. A little bit there. I actually want to get some of that 3M silicone paste. So we're using something a little bit safer for this purpose. Here, something like that. Yeah, that's got a little bit of lube there. Now, for this part, I marked clutch pedal all the way down. I marked right about here. Well, somewhere, yeah, I filed right there to put this guy right about there. That came in handy. Okay, couple things. Pedal assembly's in. I put grease on that little pin that we just repaired, so I got a nice glob of that on there, and I'm going to put the pedal rod back in. Or excuse me, I'll put the push rod back on and put my little nail through it. And I'll show you how to adjust it. Cab one of these is really all you need. Okay, it's on there. There's, like, you just touch the pedal and then it moves. So what I'll do, just because, I'll shorten it a tiny bit. There's a tiny bit of slack, that's it.
I was kind of unclear on this part, but the actual part of the rod that sticks into the master cylinder, I was turning that clockwise, and what that was doing was making the rod longer. And when it does that, it takes up the slack that's in that pivot.
I'm gonna tighten it a little bit more. That should be good. See, this nut's backed out to where this is where it used to bottom out at. So I'll take our jam nut there. Take our vice grips. This is so much easier to do with the steering column out. Just lock that down. So that's like that. We're gonna take our little pin here. This is not the proper thing to have. So I showed you how this was coming apart up here. Just hammer these down, these little tabs, and then you're good to go. Click. Click. Okay, and then this 8mm, 14mm. Come on, asshole. Go. So now there it is. You can put this guy back in. Mine goes in a lot easier than the other one did. There we go. That's a lot better. Bateria back up. Oh yeah, we have to put our steering shaft back in. Okay, yeah, that went in a lot nicer. Put the bolt in. Now my play is right in my brand new gearbox. I hate that. Batteries back together. I left my wrench in that. And then we're back together here. Next, I'm gonna get some wipes or something. I'm gonna clean my steering wheel off. It's kind of stupid wrench. There we go. Well, that concludes this video for the repair on this truck. Actually, this was a reliability thing. I like to take this to California when I have the time and money, just to test to see how it will do, what will break, and yeah, it costs me money when it does break, but I think we've worked out some of the bugs. And one was a worn out injection pump, and second of all was a bad clutch. So we replaced those two, or rebuilt the pump, replaced the clutch, we're good to go. That rod being fixed makes me feel a lot better. So, yeah. Anyways, if you'd like to see more, I'm always doing stuff to this truck, trying to make it better, and pretty much replace all the old stuff, and well, we'll swap out the V8 with a 4-cylinder Cummins, so that was one thing. Put about 20,000 miles on it in 1 year. So, yeah. Anyways, please subscribe, see more, and if you got $1 to spare, please feel free to throw $1 in my fan funding little support channel button on my channel. That would be much appreciated. You don't have to. I'm not demanding it, but I'm just saying it helps me do more stuff like this with this truck. So we got lots more to do. I'm gonna get the air conditioning stuff finished up. It's not really summertime, don't really need it, but I would like to have working air conditioning for the defrost. And so, we're gonna be doing Hydro Boost. I found 2 parts that I need for a Hydro Boost unit. I got that out of an old Lincoln. You need the spring rod when you buy a rebuilt Hydro Boost unit, and I got that for free. So we'll be putting a Hydro Boost unit. We're getting a new one, and we'll be swapping that into this guy here. And then I'll get a little vacuum pump to run my HVAC stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing. Anyways, thanks for watching, and catch you next time.